Hello, hello, this is Simone. Today I'm back with another Scale It Down video, a collaboration that I do with my friend Suzanna Lee. And our topic for this and the next Saturday that we are sharing a video is stitching in your traveler's notebook. So, how are we going to do that? Now, the easiest way is to just create on a separate piece of paper and then stick it in. And it is best when your traveler's notebook insert is so chunky that you can't even create in it anymore. So I decided to complete this traveler's notebook. There is one double page left, and so instead of struggling with a bulky insert, I'm just going to use white cardstock and work on the white cardstock and do everything on there. And once I'm finished, I'm just going to add glue to the back and put it inside. Now, stitching. So how could you stitch in a traveler's notebook? I have another idea that I'm going to share next week, the next Saturday we share one of our process videos, but I have so you could, as I said, you could definitely just stitch on the elements that you add into your traveler's notebook. And what I'm going to do here is something that I actually did in a very similar fashion on Monday when I created a whole background with punches and stitched them to the white cardstock, and that is very similar. I had I think last year sometime I wanted to do something, and I think I had them in a process video, but I'd never used them. I created a background again using washi tapes, and it somehow didn't work. I punched circles with the washi tape, and you can see them right here. I have 9 of those circles. I don't know if I have only had 9 or if this is how much is left. But I'm thinking about, I'm just going to use these. So if you want to do something similar, this is how you do it. You just use colored washi tape that is similarly colored. So I used blues and greens because obviously that's my favorite colors. And then I just stuck them onto a piece of white cardstock and I overlapped them, and I just made a really big strip of white cardstock with washi, covered the strip with washi tape. And then I used a circle punch and punched out circles. And that is how you get those circles. So my first idea, and I'm really, just going to commit quickly because I don't want this to be a really long video, and I don't want this to be a long process because it is such a small canvas that I feel it like umming and ahhing all over this isn't really justified. But as you can see, I didn't really like it. I had the idea that I could add, as you saw, this vellum to the left side of the spread, and I felt like I needed some of the circles on the left side as well. Right here, this is where I'm going with this right now. That's what I'm going to do, and I like it much better, even though it's not the whole background. No, that's not right. How do I say that? Now, I actually wanted the circles to stick out more from the behind the photo. I wanted this to be a huge background thing, but actually it not being so symmetrical in a way makes it more interesting, I think. It creates more balance. And yeah, so I'm really glad I took the third row of circles off and I'm going with this design instead. So in order to get it all even and make this look like it's just a gap in a bunch of in a pattern, I used my ruler, and then I went to my sewing machine and I stitched them all down. So I stitched from the top to the bottom, and I stitched from left to right, and yeah, that's what I did. This is how I incorporated the stitching. Now I'm cutting off the edges of the circles, and just talking about design, I finished my traveler's notebook insert, and I'm definitely going to share a flip through pretty soon. But what I noticed when I looked at it after I was finished was that I tend to do this a lot in my traveler's notebook. I tend to create a horizontal imaginary block like this. So I have the circles on the right and part of the circles on the left, and if you connect those, there is this horizontal line or block going across. And that's a design that seems to be that I tend to go or use very often. And it is very easy to create in a traveler's notebook. So if you don't really know where to start and how to start, try a horizontal block that you break up. That's a good tip. Try that and you will see how easy it is to create a spread that looks pleasing to the eye. So I wanted to stamp, and I have a new stamp set, an alpha stamp set from Feed Your Craft. I think it is called Skinny Alpha. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave a link to her shop in the description box below so you can check it out. And I wanted to use this as my title. I didn't really know what to write, so I just wrote visit in German, which is Besuch. This is a photo of my two oldest sons with my nephew, who was here in 2016 visiting us, and the boys took him to the bus stop in the morning to see the yellow school bus. And he was so fascinated by his older cousins that he enjoyed it thoroughly, walking right in their middle, holding hands. He felt like such a big boy. And that is what I'm writing about right now. So I'm spelling out the word Besuch with the alpha stickers. I used a different colored ink to stamp. I didn't use black. My go-to ink for stamping is black, but I felt like I needed more color, and so I used this blue. And I started from the back because I wanted the word to align with the right side of the paper. And then I am thinking about adding some of the hearts. So once I punched the circles, there was still a lot of cardstock left. And then I just used a heart punch and punched some hearts. And now I'm actually done. And I'm just showing you that I'm going to add this to the last page, and then I'm just going to call it done. What you can see here is that my paper that I'm inserting into this traveler's notebook is smaller. It's not going all the way into the spine because it's so bulky. You can see it. It's visible that it's not going all the way to the inside edge of the paper, but it still looks like a spread. And yeah. So I'm just flipping through this and looking at it, and I'm showing, I didn't even know that I flipped through this that much, but this is the beginning of the pages, and that is the last page. So yeah, I'm thinking about adding the date, but I'm not sure where. I thought about stamping, but then I decided I'm just going to use my handwriting. And the funny thing is that he came to visit. Oh yeah, I'm flipping back because I saw the dates, and then I thought I need to add them here. And the funny thing is, I started this in May or April of 2016, and that is in May of 2016 is when he came to see us. So I just wrote May 2016 and then 2018 because I don't need to repeat the word May. Now I'm adding the stamping here. I'm using the Chimel date stamp. I'm just covering the dates. Here are some close-ups. The traveler's notebook is finished. I really love how this turned out. It's such a nice document of all the little teeny tiny things. Be sure to head on over to Suzanna and see what she created. I hope to see you next time. Until then, bye.